Yeah, this is an acronym. Next is accessibility for beginners. Is there a low barrier to entry? Now, low barrier to entry is good, don't get me wrong, but there is a possibility of the barrier to entry being too low and then you just being seen as expendable. For example, the barrier to entry to being a McDonald's employee is very, very, very low. As long as you don't have a criminal record that's too bad, they will hire you. And that's basically it. Any able-bodied human being, you can get hired. And that's why the pay is so low. But for example, the president of the United States, maybe that's not the best example, but people want to see that he is qualified for many, many, many different decades. And he's been doing this for a long time and he knows what he's talking about. God, I really don't want to get into politics, but we'll carry on. Next is the cash timeline. So can profit be made quickly or is it a slow burner? Now, obviously, man, the faster the better. Everybody want to make money tomorrow, this week. But right, if you're someone who's like, I can wait a few months to a year to a couple of years to start making real profit, then it's something to consider. Next is the top earning potential. So are there any income caps? Now, like I said, these business models are, their main agency is to get you off the ground, and then you're probably going to be switching business models somewhere else along the way. You have a starter business, and then you have a business to where now you have the skills, now you have the capital, now you have the revenue, now you have the funds, now you have the relationship and the network with people so that you can build something really big and really amazing. Next is schedule freedom. So do you choose how to spend your time? And is that something that's highly important to you? Some people are like, well, I don't care. I'll sit here and work all day, every day. And that's really good, especially when you're just starting out. Eventually, you're not going to really want that. So we'll talk about it as we go on. So without knowing what you're looking for when it comes to these 5 sections, you'll struggle to find the ideal model for you. So let's go through number 1, which is funding required. So this measures how much capital you need to get started. Low funding businesses can be launched with minimal investment, while high funding business models require significant upfront capital. And look, nobody's clicked on this video because they're already Mr. Moneybags. If you were, then I'm not really sure what you're doing here. Maybe your trust fund baby, I'm not really sure. But either way, you want something ideally that doesn't cost that much, if anything, to even start. There are lots of business models that cost nothing. And if you're sitting on a pile of cash, then we're going to talk about what you can do with that as well. Now, as a beginner, starting small is the smartest move. So for example, let's say you want to start playing guitar. Are you going to go out and buy just the baddest, craziest $5,000 guitar, and that's like your whole life savings when you don't even really know if you like it that much? I would advise against it. Look, every new entrepreneur pays a learning tax. These are mistakes that cost time and money as you figure out how business actually works. This tax is unavoidable. It costs to be the boss. Let's just be honest. The only question is how much you'll pay, because the truth is you'll either pay with time or money. Don't forget that time is money. Now, next is to understand how to reduce your learning tax. So when you start with minimal investment, your learning tax is small. A $200 mistake in a low-cost business model might sting, but it won't destroy you. But the same mistake amplified to $50,000 investment could be catastrophic. Think of it like learning to drive. Would you rather practice in an old used car in an empty parking lot or in a brand new Ferrari on a crowded highway? Both will teach you to drive, but one environment forgives mistakes while the other punishes them severely. Next is accessibility for beginners. So success in business compounds. Each small win builds confidence that fuels bigger action. When you choose a highly accessible business model, you create the confidence ladder with manageable steps rather than intimidating leaps. Imagine 2 different paths to learning swimming. 1, the first approach, you're thrown into the deep end immediately. And 2, in the second approach, you start in the shallow water, mastering one skill before progressing. Maybe you learn how to tread, then you learn how to swim, then maybe you learn some backstroke, etc., etc. The deep end approach might work for a few exceptional people, but most will panic, develop fear associations, and potentially give up entirely. The progressive approach builds confidence through incremental mastery, creating momentum that carries forward. Business works in the same way. So when your first business model allows you to experience small, frequent wins, you develop confidence needed to tackle much bigger changes later. Each success creates psychological evidence that you're capable of the next step. And that's where confidence even comes from. Confidence isn't about shouting affirmations in the mirror or, writing down things multiple times. I am a winner. I am a winner. It's just from making the small wins, actually getting up and doing what you said you're going to do and providing results for yourself and for other people. Every business has hidden complexities, as we've discussed, that only become visible once you are operating. The more accessible a business model, the fewer surprises you'll encounter. I call this the iceberg effect. What's visible above the water is just a piece of what exists below the surface. Accessible business models have smaller icebergs with fewer hidden challenges. Next is the cash timeline. So choosing a business model with a fast time to revenue isn't impatience, but rather creating the best odds of success. Prioritizing a fast cash timeline dramatically increases your odds of building something sustainable. The ultimate validation of any business concept isn't praise, social media followers, or even investor funding. It's actually someone willing to pay you money. A fast cash timeline accelerates this crucial validation. Even if it's a small amount upfront, making that small amount in the first 3 months versus 9 months out is going to be gigantic. It's going to be huge. Because on month 6, 7, and 8, when you're sitting there with zero cash to your name, a whole bunch of sunk cost, you're going to start questioning yourself. So I want you to imagine two entrepreneurs with similar business concepts. Entrepreneur A chooses a model requiring 9 months of development before the first sale even is possible to occur. And then Entrepreneur B adapts their approach to generate their first revenue within 30 days. By the time Entrepreneur A learns if anyone will actually pay for the solution, Entrepreneur B has already confirmed real market demand through actual sales, gathered feedback from paying customers, not just interested prospects, tested different messaging offers and price points, generated data on customer acquisition costs and conversion rates, and also potentially pivoted to more promising opportunities based on the market response. This creates a validation velocity gap that becomes nearly impossible to close as time progresses. You're already so far ahead of the other guy who took so long to even go to the market. And that's part of the reason why massive, messy action is the best type of action to take. Take massive action early on as much as possible. Human psychology responds powerfully to tangible results. The first time someone pays you, even a small amount, activates motivational systems that abstract goals and distant rewards simply cannot match. And I call this the first dollar effect. This initial payment creates a neurological reward pattern that fuels persistence through the inevitable challenges of entrepreneurship. Man, my very first $600 paycheck, I will never, ever, ever forget it. And with that paycheck, I immediately went out and spent it, of course, as you do. But I spent it on something that I still use to this very day, and that's the standing desk that I'm on and using right now. And it's kind of like a momentum to my very first dollar. And I remember that moment. Yes, I was dancing around the house, and I'm man enough to admit that I probably shed a tear or two. But I genuinely cannot wait to be the person, and of course, just see you guys make your first dollar and be the person to lead you guys to your first dollar made online. Because with that first dollar, you understand that it is real. It's actually possible. If you can make $1, you can make 10. If you can make 10, you can make 1,000. If you can make 1,000, you can make millions, which is what we're going to do. Number 4 is the top earning potential. Now, understanding a business model's top earning potential matters, but placing too much emphasis on this factor early in your entrepreneurial journey can actually undermine your success. Here's why this metric deserves attention, but shouldn't drive your initial business model selection. So consider these two scenarios. Business model A has a $250,000 ceiling. You have an 80% chance of reaching 70% of its potential. So $140K is the expected outcome. Business B has a $1 million ceiling, a lot higher potential, but you only have a 20% chance of reaching 40% of its maximum potential. So the chances of you making money in it are way lower. So your expected income is only $80,000, which is much less than the other one. So sometimes it really is more intelligent for you to just go after a business. Or sure, the top earning potential might not be $1 million a year, but as long as it will, like I said, get you off the ground, get you disposable income, and help you learn entrepreneurial skills, then the choice is obvious. You can go out there today and try to make the next Amazon or the next Uber. You really can. But it's going to be tough, and you're going to be competing with some big dogs. So what does this actually mean? Well, starting a business with a total earning potential of $500 per month probably isn't worth it. You don't want to try to be a data entry specialist or something, or just like a virtual assistant for $500 a month. You're just not making that much money. So starting a business with a $5 million per month total earning potential doesn't mean that it's the best thing to start as a beginner. So the smartest path, something that can get you to 5K to 20K per month reliably. Now, depending on where you live, that's either a decent amount of money or a lot of money. I mean, 20K per month doesn't really matter where you are unless you're in like freaking LA or Miami. That's still quite a lot of money. And at 20K per month, you also have so many more opportunities to make way more money as well. If you can make 20K per month, I can speak from experience. There's not really that many changes that you have to make to your life and to yourself to make